So why should we bother changing our attitude? What is all this about? Is there any point in changing our approach towards these students? What's in it for us? Let's look at what we're doing now, currently, and then assess if that's working or not, to see if there's any point in doing this. I remember teaching a seminar down in London years ago, and I was getting a taxi from the airport to the venue, and the taxi driver said to me, "What do you do for a living? What's with all the bags and things?" I said, "Well, I'm actually going to give a workshop on behaviour management to a group of teachers." He said, "Oh, right." He said, "I'll tell you what I'd do with the kids." He said, "I'd just give them a clip round the ear. That never did me any harm at school, and I think that's what's missing." So I relayed this story back to the teachers in the venue, and I said, "How many of you feel that we should be getting tougher on behaviour? How many of you feel that we need to step it up a bit?" And virtually every hand in the room shot up. I said, "That's great. Just keep your hands up now if you feel perhaps we need to go as far as the taxi driver's suggesting and go back to corporal physical punishment." And quite a few hands stayed up. Now, it doesn't matter whether you agree with that or not. We're all entitled to our opinions. We all have different opinions. But I was giving the same seminar to a group of teachers in Singapore, and I was actually a bit wary about going over there at first, because to all intents and purposes, on the surface, they have a fantastic discipline system. They don't seem to have the problems that we have in schools. The students are very respectful. They all go around with their top buttons done up and their ties up to the top, and they all seem to be really trying hard and succeeding in school. But at the break time, a gentleman came up to me and he said, "Rob, I'm a discipline master at the school." Now, the disciplines master's job, as he explained to me, is to administer punishment to the students when they do something wrong. And what absolutely horrified me was when he told me that it wasn't uncommon for him to whip a student to the point where they actually bleed through their shorts. Now, as I've said, on the surface, behaviour in Singapore, not a problem. So I was wondering what the hell I was doing there. But it was only when I started talking to some of the students and started talking to some of the staff that I realised that actually, although they seem to have a cap on behaviour at the moment through this very hardline approach, this very tough approach towards discipline, it's just like keeping a lid on a pressure cooker, because the students weren't happy. And the staff were telling me that there's a bubbling undercurrent of dissatisfaction, and we are not keeping on top of behaviour at all. We've got kids who are now being very disrespectful. And the kids themselves were telling me, we hate being treated like this. We want to be heard. We want to be given a voice. So trying to keep them down like this with this hardline, zero tolerance approach, although it was working on the surface, perhaps long term, it's not really going to be as effective as it is right at the start. So the very hard, tough, punitive approach has drawbacks. The students themselves don't respect the staff who administer the punishment, who take this approach with them. And it's very difficult to get your best from someone when they don't respect you, as we all know. At the other end of the scale, of course, we've got the softly approach, the very liberal approach that we adopted on the back of abolishing corporal punishment. And we went so far the other way, giving these students all their rights, that we've created a rod for our own backs. And I've actually been in a situation, I've actually been in a school where I have witnessed a student punching a member of staff, only to see a senior member of staff offer a hug to the student and say, there, was that nasty man giving you a hard time? Or words to that effect. Now that student didn't respect either teacher. They're just having a laugh. They're just making a mockery of a system that is just allowing them to do what they want. Neither approach is meeting the needs of these students. It is not getting the best from them. What we need is something in the middle. We need discipline, we need boundaries, we need consequences. Students need to know that someone is there looking out for them enough to give them those boundaries, enough to give them discipline. Because they don't want to be just given a free-for-all, although it may seem like that. They need to see that there's a leader there, someone in control. And they don't want someone who's a walkover, someone who's just so soft and so weak and trying to be their friend. That doesn't work either. So we need something in the middle, and that is boundaries, consequences, discipline within a supportive framework. Right down the middle, and that's what we're aiming to do through the needs-focused approach.